right. What is your opinion on THC products being legalized for recreational uses?
For recreational uses?
Yes, ma'am. Like fruit uses.
That's a tough one.
Yes, ma'am.
THC products. Ooh, this is hard.
What if we did just marijuana? Let's do just that.
For legalization.
Yes, ma'am.
Well, I look at it like you have cigarettes, you have alcohol, those things being legalized.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't know that there's any positives to alcohol and cigarettes, but you have the people who use it responsibly, and you have the people that do not. So in the case of marijuana products being legalized, I support that wholeheartedly for medical purposes, because I have seen it work for certain people, especially for, different medical conditions. So it's a very hard question to say yes or no, because the moral obligations of whether it's right or wrong, it's still an illegal substance regardless of how I feel about it. Now, having said that, there's not going to be a distinction of what it can be used for. It's either all or nothing. So in this case, I would say yes, go ahead and legalize, because there are positive uses for it for some of the community. And in order for them to have access to that more easily than they do now, I feel like legalization is a good possibility.
Do you feel there would be more of a positive outcome than a negative outcome if it was to be legalized?
I think so. In the states where it has become legalized, I haven't heard many negative things about it. So just thinking about that, and I think it's one of those things, when it becomes legalized, everybody's going to get all excited, and the people that are wanting it for recreational purposes, they're going to continue to use it regardless of how they get it. So possibly this might cut down on some of the criminal activity and such as well. So I do feel like there could easily be positive outcomes for it.
Do you think it would calm down like gang violence, like the drug transportation across borders and stuff like that?
I think so, because there would be less of a kind of a secret reason to have something and to be able to obtain it illegally. Now, as far as how costs work and things like that, people may feel like they can still get it cheaper going those routes. But I do think that sort of transportation purposes of it could decrease, at least for the marijuana drug trade.
Do you think that the U.S. should tax it to maybe help with some of the problems, like how in debt we are and stuff like that?
I think taxing is a good idea, because just like with nicotine and with alcohol, that tax is there to kind of, people aren't going to stop using it because of a tax, but if you really don't need it, it's going to cost you more than something else that maybe is not necessary.
Yes, ma'am. That's perfect.
Okay.
Actually, that's like,
I'm here with Santi. I wanted to ask you some questions about some weed, bro. You think it should be legalized?
I think weed should be legalized.
why?
Why? Well, I just said, weed is a very good thing to do. Definitely keeps everyone happy. Am I on weed right now? No. But if I was, we'd both be peaceful.
Of course. Alright, I'm here with
Carlos Garcia.
yeah. So I have a couple questions for you. Alright, so what are your thoughts about weed being legalized for recreational use in the US?
I think it should be legalized in all 50 states. There's actually people with health issues who really need it, and it helps. Some people think it's just for that highness, but it actually helps a lot of people with their health problems.
So besides the health, because it's being legalized for recreational use and not medical use, besides the health, what do you think it would benefit?
I think it'll make everyone happy. I haven't done it, right? I don't know what it feels like, but what I've heard, I think it's very good. It keeps everyone happy. It'll keep people more calm.
Okay, I'm here with Ms. Hyman. Ms. Hyman, I have a question for you.
Okay.
Do you think that weed should be legalized for recreational use?
I do not. And here's some background to this. My husband is a chemical dependency counselor, and he doesn't talk about his clients But, you know, talking about the business, they talk about, you know, with the counseling, that many of the patients, as they're doing their background and stuff, they started with marijuana. And it's led them to other, like opioids, primarily opioids is what he deals with. And so people say that it's not a gateway drug, but all the evidence that he sees, at least, and talks about, says that it is in fact a gateway drug. So no, I don't think it should be.
Do you think weed should be legalized for recreational uses? Why or why not?
Yes, because it cures cancer.
Anything else to say why? Like,
And it'll help stop drug
That's
violence,
bullying right there.
drug trafficking. Shit, we can get the U.S. out of debt.
alright. Do you think it should be legalized just in the U.S. or worldwide? Worldwide. Okay. What pros do you think it would have around the world besides what you just said? Anything else?
That's it.
What cons do you think it would start?
There-
Anything bad?
No.
No? That's it?
Yeah.
That's it.
It's